Hey guys, here we're Earth of All Blocks, and today let's do the entire phone collection as of 2025. So let's do it. First is the LG Optimus G Pro for AT&T. Works totally fine. Which I got this thing last year. I will say I got this thing last year because I did. I think, which of 2024. Here you go. This one was actually in its box, yeah. These are Garmin Asus Garmin phone on T-Mobile. I got two of those things. Two of them are in the box. Got both in 2024. Alcatel One Touch Evolve for Metro PCS. I got this thing in 2024 also. Supposedly, most of them I'll say I got them all from last year, which is 2024. And also the Huawei M318 for Metro PCS. Metro PCS. This Nokia 2660. I think it is. Yep, it's a 2660 for AT&T. I'm starting off the boxes because, oh, see over there. Here's a LG LX 165 for Telecom Mobile, also from last year. Here's a ZTE C77 for Unlocked. I got this thing also from last year. This one, it's in another year. I got this thing in 2022, or 2023, I think 2022 most likely. The LG VX3300 for Verizon. Motorola Moto VE240, just VE240. Got this thing last year. Metro PCS. Here's also from last year, the the Star Wars Motorola Droid 2 R2D2, which is supposedly a limited edition on Verizon. It works. Here's a Nokia 2125i on Metro PCS. This one also got this thing last year. Here's another one, charging. LGVX 8300 for Verizon. I have like a second one which is not in a box. Wow, for the one that's not in a box, I got this thing in another year. This one I got this thing last year. AudioVox CMA 600 for Verizon. I got this thing recently, and probably in a month, like in 1 month ago. Use a Pantech Breakout for Verizon. I got this thing last year. Works totally fine. Pantech Matrix Dual for AT&T works. I have another one which I had it recently. This one I had to see last year, but its original charger doesn't work. But now the battery, I have its own good charger, but the battery doesn't work. So yeah, that's why I have another one. Here's two of my Kyocera Oysters for Virgin Mobile. Both of them got in the same year, last year, and it's new. It's new in its little plastic casing and box. Same thing with the LG. No, this Verizon one, the PN215 from Pantech. I got this thing for also last year, and same with this one. Inside the Huawei Valiant box, even though it's a smartphone, this one's not a smartphone. The Kyocera Torino. I have another one that has a good old D-pad that was responsive really cleanly. This one had a better responsive time. Okay, so let's start unlocking these phones. As of right now, yeah, you can see. Do you want to disable it? Nope. Obviously, I don't want to disable it. Metro PCS. This one's a one is charged. I think this one has a bad battery. Oh, no, never mind. This one, I know for a fact this will have a bad battery anytime soon, but other than that, it works totally fine. Let's see. This one's on its own little butterflies. It's same with that little thing. Okay, now let's turn all of them off. Yeah, the power button's having a little bit of trouble. I'm so sorry about that. I know. There you go. Same old loading screen as any other phones from AT&T. By the time era. Like this. Oh, this one also. Glitch, tell me, sorry about that.
Metro PCS.
Sorry about that.
Unlimit yourself.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Sorry about that. Because I didn't see it. That's why it's cool. I'm gonna make sure one of them is not alive. Okay, that should be good. Here's the entire smartphone sound. So that's for that part. And after that next part, it's gonna be Premiere also. Why not? Here are two of my Samsung Galaxy on 5s. One's on Metro PCS. And this one here, the one with the hairline crack, is on Metro PCS. This one is on T-Mobile, which is with a perfect screen. They both work totally fine. Here's a Samsung Galaxy J3 Archive on Boost Mobile. Yep, J3 Archive. I had both these three last year. So yeah. Here's an LG Aristo 3 Plus on Metro by T-Mobile. Got this thing last year. Alcatel One Touch Dawn on Assurance Wireless. I had this thing last year. Here's my Galaxy J3 Core. Or no, J2 Core. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's J2 Core. On Metro by T-Mobile. I had this thing in last year. My Samsung LG K20 Plus. There you go. This one's on T-Mobile. I had this thing in last year. This is my first one. Got my second one, which is in another bucket, which I will do in the other part. Here's an LG Aristo on Metro PCS. I got this thing. I had this thing in like around 2017. Here's my LG K10. Yeah, it's a K10 on AT&T. I had this thing last year. Here's a ZTE Z5 GLTE on track phone. I got this thing last year. Here's a Galaxy J7 Prime for T-Mobile. I got this thing last year also, which along with the other ones, which are the following: the LG Aristo 2 from Metro by T-Mobile, also LG Aristo 3, also Metro by T-Mobile. This one from the repairing. The Samsung Galaxy J3 2016 on Sprint works, and unfortunately it is dead. An LG, it's LG Tribute 2. There you go, on Boost. Now this thing in around 2016. My LG K30 for T-Mobile. I have another one. This is my first one. I have a second one which on Metro PCS, which is in the other one. This thing had it last year. Is my Motorola Moto E5 Play on Metro by PCS. I got this thing last year. Here's my LG Leon on Metro, also on Metro PCS. I also had this thing last year. Same with the J3 Emerge for Sprint. Unfortunately, this one is dead. Sorry about the barking. Here's UMX U504TL. Sorry it's so loud. It's on track phone. I got this thing last year. Is a Samsung Galaxy S5 Sport on Sprint. I saw this thing last year, but it unfortunately is dead. Is my J3 Prime for Metro PCS, which I had last year and is also dead unfortunately. Oh wait, it turned on. What the hell? No way. Is my Kyocera Hydro Wave, my first one for Metro PCS. I had this thing like around 20, also in 2017 somehow. Probably in 2017 or 2016. Don't remember. Don't know what year it came out. That way I can remember. Here's my Alcatel Alcatel Raven for track phone. I had this thing last year. Here's a Moto E4 for Metro PCS. I had this thing last year. Two of my Galaxy S5s, which I got them last year. One is on Verizon, and the other one is on T-Mobile, which run the Android 4. Same old phone, different carriers, different version of software works. Here's two of my Galaxy Lights. The one with the hairline crack is on T-Mobile. This one with a perfect screen is on Metro PCS. Oh, that one Verizon's dying, I think. Here's a Soho Style. I think this is the S is the 5214G. This one's unlocked. I got this thing last year, I guess. But right now at this point it's dead, fortunately. Here are two of my Samsung Galaxy exhibits. The white one's on T-Mobile, which you could tell, and the black one on Metro PCS. T-Mobile, I had this thing last year. This exhibit, I had this thing since the year 2013. Which I was little, I didn't have a YouTube, of course. Here's a Motorola Droid Razr Max on Verizon. I had this thing last year. Here's my Galaxy Rush for Boost Mobile. I had this thing last year also. Here's a Kyocera Hydro something. I think it's a Hydro, not Hydro Wave. It's Kyocera. It's a Hydro something. Yeah. Oh, it died. Sorry about that. You see, this one's on Metro PCS. I got this thing last year. This one also had last year. The LG Optimus L70 for Metro PCS. I had this thing also last year. There's also last year the Alcatel One Touch Pop Icon, Pop Astro. Pop Icon's something else. Yeah, see, Pop Astro. On T-Mobile, got this thing in last year. Here are two of my S2 Epic 4G touches. This one here is on Boost Mobile. There's one on Virgin Mobile, which I want to try to get one like this in white and just flash it. This one's dead, but it works though. And the S2 and this one S2 here is on Sprint. I got this last year. I got this one around, I would say like around 2013 also. or 2012 or early 20, like somewhere late 2012. So I'm not sure. Here's an LG K7 from Metro PCS. I got this thing last year. Oh, it's gonna die. Yeah. Here's a cool pad, a Rise on Sprint. Doesn't have a carrier logo, but I got this thing in around last year. Here's a Samsung Galaxy Avant for T-Mobile. I had this thing last year. Sorry about the background noise because there was like a bunch of tragic here. Oh my goodness, guys. I'm so sorry. Here's a Samsung Galaxy S2. Something. Okay, finally my screaming stopped. That is such a magical, guys. Sorry about that. I'm so sorry. Here's an S2 Skyrocket on AT&T. Works, but it's dead. I got this thing last year. Here's a LG Optimus Fuel for track phone. I had this thing last year. The broken one, I also had it last year. This one, I managed to get it. It's really good. Here's a Motorola Moto Bio. Droid Bio. Sorry about that. It's on Verizon. Got this thing last year. Here's a ZT Overture on AO wireless. Got this thing last year also. Two of my ZT Quests. This one I think could be unlocked or on Assurance Wireless because I have another one somehow. I don't know where they went now. But I got this thing last year. Here you go. Alcatel One Touch Fierce 2 on Metro PCS. I also got this thing last year. Especially the rest of them. LG Optimus F60 on Metro PCS. I had this thing last time. Here's my ZTE Avid 4 for unlocked. Got this thing last year. Oh, what the hell? The animation went in the same speed. What? No way. Rare. It's a Samsung Galaxy Prevail 2 for Boost Mobile. I got this thing last year. And unfortunately, the battery decided to die. I don't know, even though I charged it. There's no way. Freaking way it happened. Yeah. Okay, hold on a second. I think this should be unlocked. I'm not sure. Here's another ZT Quest. I think this is on. It could be on Assurance Wireless. I don't know. If there's like an. Yeah. Here's a Samsung Galaxy S2 for T-Mobile. Also known as the S2 Hercules. Which I've seen it before. Same thing though. Same phone though. I had this thing last year. Here's a LG Motion 4G for Metro PCS. I had this thing last year. Unfortunately, sorry about the power button's acting iffy. Here's a first S2, S3 on Sprint. This is a CDMA model. This one I got this thing last year. I have another one. It's in another bin, separate bin. Here's my first Alcatel One Touch Pixie Glitz. There you go. Yeah, Pixie Glitz on track phone. I have a second one in the other bin. Yeah, this thing last year. Here's my Nokia Lumia 521 for T-Mobile. Got this thing also last year. Same with that one. The Pantech something. I don't remember what Pantech it is. It's a Pantech. It does run on 4G. It's on AT&T. It's a Pantech. Yeah, I forgot. If you tell me in the comments, I will remember. On AT&T. Yeah, I got this thing last year. Here's a HTC Dream G1 on T-Mobile. I got this thing also last year. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's critically low. I know. I got you. I'm going to turn you off. Here's a HTC Incredible 2 on Verizon. Works. It's dead, fortunately. Here's a Samsung Galaxy, Samsung Sidekick 4G for T-Mobile. Works totally fine. I got this thing last year. I'll put this thing on top because why not? It's way in the bottom. Here's a Motorola Droid, the original Droid on Verizon. This one, I got this thing in last year. Probably. I don't remember, but it was good. Here's my Samsung Galaxy S. No, Samsung Dart. No, Galaxy. It's a Samsung Dart on T-Mobile. Both of them. This one, I had this thing last year. Then came with a battery back cover, but and I have another one, which I have with its own replacement battery, which I got this thing in 2020 last year. Sorry about that. Here's this Kyoser Milano on Boost Mobile Inosa Sprint. Got this thing last year. Here's a Samsung. Oh my goodness, Samsung! Behold 2! I'm sorry about that background. I had to yell it out. Got this thing last year. Sorry about the background noise which was happening, which I very apologize for that. And I had to speed up the video because due to all of the background noise and I had to turn off everything. And now, after all those little background noises and all those videos, we're gonna continue with the remaining phones. So, please stand by, and thank you so much for waiting. I'm so sorry about that, guys. I'm very apologizing once again. Here's this HTC Watch 3G for T-Mobile. I got this thing in 2024, I think. No, in 2022. It is Motorola Droid X. I got this thing last year. It is Samsung Galaxy. No, Samsung Replenish on Sprint. I got this thing like in 2022 also, which without the battery, which I could have got the battery earlier, which it will have service. Sadly, at least they connect to one of those towers in Verizon, one of those roaming towers they had, which it was super nice still to have it, to be honest. I mean, this is gonna take a little longer. I'll put the dead ones in its own pile. Hold on a second. I wish I had the background cancellation, but I don't have that feature. Here's a Coolpad Legacy SR for Assurance Wireless. Got this thing last 2023. No, last year. Yeah, see over there. There's this what the heck is that? UMX U68 VCL, I think. On Assurance Wireless also. Got this thing last year, but it's dead, fortunately. Put that side over there. There's a HTC Desire 626S on Verizon. Works. And it's dead, unfortunately, but I got this thing last year. There's a Soho Style, no, it's a Sky Devices Elite B5 on Unlocked, obviously. I got this thing last year. Here's a HTC My Touch 4G on T-Mobile. As power button wasn't good, but I had this thing last year, but those were totally fine. Same thing with the HTC Wi-Fi S from Metro PCS, which also I got it last year, and it's dead, unfortunately. This one's dead. Here comes the next ones. Here's a Pantech Pocket for AT&T. This one I had this thing last year, but the power button's really iffier in this one. But I know it's fully charged, but it does still work. There you go. There's a LG Optimus Q for track phone. I had this thing last year. Also the LG G2X for T-Mobile works, but it works totally. Here we go. Got this thing last year. Also the LG Optimus S. The ZTE Warp on Boost Mobile. There's a Samsung Galaxy Grand Prime for Metro PCS. I got this thing last year. Oop, it's dying LG. The G2X. Here's a Coolpad Coolpad, what's it called? It's Coolpad, Defiance on also Metro PCS. Got it seen last year, but it's dead. There's a AT&T Radeon Core for AT&T works, but I think it's also dead. I will say, I'll assume. Could be dead if it's not turning on. Yeah, it's dead. Now, let's turn on them off now. And unlocking them also. Which, I had to speed up the video from like ABC to speed it up. I had to do it because it's giving me frustration. From all the background noise, it gives me frustration. Which I feel like the video is going to be ruined. Which, because of that. Which I'm going to do right now is speed up the rest of them. From that part. From that part here, all the way to there. Supposed to be watching this right now. Okay, let's see. Yeah, some of the batteries are dying. Sorry about that. The other set of smartphones and also the dumb phones will be available through another time. Obviously tomorrow we'll do it, and after the premiere we'll be starting this video for tomorrow. That video for the other day, awesome. Yeah, it's super bad. So sorry about this. It's super bad. I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. You see the dog? Yeah, it's him. Oh, come on. There you go. That's it for all, guys. If you guys enjoyed the entire collection, like, comment, subscribe. That's enough for now, guys. And for the like, couldn't even focus our camera. And peace.